Welcome to the Pesky Report, a podcast for Red Sox fans.
Hey everybody, welcome to our first episode of the offseason for the Pesky Report. We're doing a feature this season with players that have not made it to the majors yet, or minor leaguers, kind of like how we did during the season. But we're going to be running these, trying to do at least one per week, taking us into spring training. And these are going to be the Men of Tomorrow interviews. So our first guest today is somebody who grew up probably with a similar fandom to a lot of the people that listen to the show. From Attleborough, Massachusetts, it's going to be Nathan. I don't know if it's Tellier or Tellier. I should have asked that at the beginning of it. But I'm joined. What is it?
Tellier.
Okay, so it's going to be Nathan Tellier of Attleborough, Massachusetts, graduate of UMass Dartmouth. I'm joined not as always, but as frequently, with Huitzo. Huitzo, how are you doing today?
Very good. How are you?
I'm good. Huitzo just finished up filming a movie in Guanajuato, Mexico. So, glad to have you back, man. It's been about a month, but it's good to see you. You look tired but satisfied.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
Yeah. So Nate, how's it going? How was the season?
Oh, that's good, man. Good. Learning a lot. The coaches for the Red Sox are really good. They'll teach you anything you want to know. I'm back home for a month, and then I'm going down to Puerto Rico to play some winter ball.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
What team in winter ball are you going to be playing?
The Ponce Leons.
That's really cool. So Huitzo had a question for you that to get us started here.
Yeah, I wanted to know what it's like being from Massachusetts to play in the Boston Red Sox organization. What is like for you?
So it's really a blessing. So when I was originally getting looked at by the Yankees, and then the Red Sox came out of nowhere. And 4 or 5 days after I talked to the scout, I signed with them. So it all happened real quick, and it was words can't describe the feeling because I grew up a Red Sox fan. So being part of that organization, meeting all the big leaguers, meeting all the future big leaguers, it's really a great thing.
How old were you when you started following baseball?
Oh, I was 7. I said, yeah. My mom drove me to my first game when I was 7.
Oh man, do you remember the game at all?
Yeah. I think my mom told me she was really nervous. She was pacing back and forth. She didn't know if I would be able to do well, and I think I got a couple of hits. Yeah.
But you went to did you go to a lot of games growing up like at Fenway?
I went to a couple. Not as many as I would like, just because the tickets are expensive. But yeah, definitely. I went with my grandfather, my mom, my dad. So it was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you grew up in Attleborough, right?
Yeah, it's about 40 minutes away from Boston. So
yeah, that's closer to Foxborough. I'm from Acton, so always Fenway was the closer one, and then Foxborough was kind of like, oh, that's the one that we can only do this once a year because it's so far out.
Yeah.
But you must have just been surrounded by sports then growing up here. Did you play anything besides baseball?
Growing up, I played soccer and basketball, and then I swam in high school. So by the time I got to high school, I wanted to focus on baseball, and then swim is just a good off-season sport to stay in shape.
Did you find that the conditioning for swimming, because I've heard that's one of those sports that really it's like your whole body for
it's unreal. You work out stuff that you can't work out any other way. It's a really good exercise, and I say it was my biggest velocity jump between sophomore and junior year just because of swim. So
yeah, that's actually a question that Huitzo had that we were talking
Yeah,
about.
I want to Yeah, I wanted to know when was the first time you noticed you threw harder than everybody else? Like you had a hard ball.
So in high school, I was throwing high 80s. I touched 90 one time, and then in college, I didn't really pitch much. But then between my junior and senior year summer, I got on the mound and I touched 96. So then I really thought that, oh, I could really do this. So I started taking pitching more seriously, and then my senior year summer is when I touched 98, and then um, I was like, oh, I can really do this. So it wasn't until later in my career where I realized I could throw hard. So
When you first threw 98, was that in a game or was it like in a pitching session or like what was like what were you doing when like you threw that?
so I've only touched it once in my life, and it was in the scout game where I was playing for the Yankees. It was Yankees versus Red Sox scout game, and I was playing for the Yankees. And that was the game that Ray Fagnan was on. He's the scout that signed me. He was with the Red Sox, so he signed me pitch for the Yankees. He saw me pitch for the Yankees, and then 4 or 5 days later, he signed me. So yeah, that's the adrenaline was really going. So that's put everything into that ball. You know,
Was this what league was this for?
this was just a scout. This was just what's it called? I forget what the game's called, but it's in Hartford, Connecticut. It's a scout game versus the Red Sox versus Yankees. They just recruit people throughout New England and play a game. So, yeah, I'm not. It does have a name, but I'm not sure the name.
But you were so you got selected for that though. I know you played for the Broxton Rocks at one point, right?
Yep, that summer I played for the Brockton Rocks.
So you kind of got picked out from that. Did you get picked out from that to play for the in this game, or was it kind of something separate?
So between that and the previous summers on the Sharks, Martha's Vineyard Sharks, that's where I got seen. So that's where Matt Hyde, the Yankee scout, saw me. So.
Gotcha. And then they were like, "Hey, come pitch in this game." And then there were more scouts there. Were you expecting that there were going to be scouts that actually reached out to you, or was it sort of just like, "Oh, well, this is an opportunity, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself."
Yeah, definitely not. Like I definitely thought it was just an opportunity. I wasn't expecting. I was hoping, but I wasn't expecting for scouts to reach out. So I just made most of what the opportunity that was given.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously hitting 98, I'm sure didn't didn't hurt during that. But you went to you finished 4 years of college, right? You got I was reading you got a degree in biology.
Yep. Graduated 2020.
Oh man, like was it hard balancing, I guess, like the schoolwork from the baseball? Because I know there are some people that I talk to that the focus is definitely on baseball and they do get the degree, but it's like afterwards. It's during like their minor league career. They'll do it during the off season.
So my parents were really into grades first before baseball, so that's how they raised me. So yeah, I focused on grades first. If my grades weren't good, then it wouldn't translate onto the field. I had to be well-rounded. So definitely grades before baseball, especially since I didn't get signed till my senior year. The ones that focus on baseball first are usually the ones that are getting looked at in high school and then going to get signed when they're 21, the first year they're 21. So, yeah, it's definitely grades first for me.
And I'm sure that was the case, when you were in high school too. What do your parents do?
My mom is a transplant quality manager up at Leahy Clinic, and my dad is the GM of a restaurant.
Oh wow! Any like over at any restaurant that we might have heard of?
Yeah, the 99s.
Oh, cool! I love the 99 restaurant.
Yeah.
Great meal, great deal.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, I genuinely do really like them because they're one of those restaurants that bring popcorn by, and any place that's giving you good quality popcorn while you're waiting for your food, I'm pretty all right with.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
So and you can find great popcorn like this at any 99 restaurant in your neighborhood. They have to pay us now. That's how this works.
Yeah.
But why'd you pick biology?
I wanted to go into physical therapy afterwards. I always liked the sciences and math and sciences, so and I wanted to be around sports. So physical therapy was going to be my route. But since I got signed, I'm not sure what I'm going to do after baseball. But, of course, baseball is my first focus right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to focus what's in front of you. But have you found that any of that has helped with like your pitching mechanics or conditioning?
For sure. Knowing about the body is more knowing about just how to stay healthy and what nutrition you need and all that. I'm not sure if it helps mechanically. The pitching coaches do that, but definitely biology helps with just overall health and just keeping your body ready.
Now, which coaches have you been working with? Like which pitching coaches?
JB Blanton down in Florida with Merritt, and there's Nick Green for Salem, and just about Juan was also in Salem. So a good amount. Definitely Nick Green helped a lot. JB Blanton helped a lot, and same with Merritt. They all know their stuff, you know.
Yeah, no, the thing that I guess what I've seen for a lot of these, like for a lot of successful teams developing pitchers, they'll take a pitcher and they'll kind of let the pitcher figure out what works best for them and then try to kind of mold that around them. Would you say that that's what your experience has been, or what have they tried to kind of like point you towards since coming into the organization?
So 100%, it's all individualized. Everyone pitches differently. Everything works different for everybody. But what they tried focusing on me is being athletic, because I was a center fielder before I was a pitcher. So they just want me to use the athleticism that I had in the outfield and just bring it to the mound. There's other people that were pitchers their whole life, so they're very mechanical, and that's what works for them. But it's really just you've got to find what works for you and just roll with it.
That's interesting, because when I think of like athleticism for like a center fielder, it's like, you know, somebody like Kike Hernandez or Kevin Kiermaier or somebody like that, who's just very fast, gets really good reads on the ball, strong arm. Yep. How do you find your athleticism helps you with your pitching?
It's just knowing how to move your body. Because everything got to go in unison, but they all got to be separate at the same time. So it's really just simplifying it without thinking about it and just being athletic. Mechanical pitchers, they got to focus on every part of their mechanics, obviously, but being athletic is just take your mind off it and just let your body do your thing that's been doing this whole time. You know?
Yeah. No, I feel like was it harder for you going from pitching UMass Dartmouth and then you're out in the FCL or in Salem? Is it more intense removed from the college situation, or are there actually less people there, so there's less pressure?
Where?
In the FCL, in like the like the FCL or in like Salem.
I would say the NECBL and the Futures League are very, I would say, laid back, just because everyone on the team are laid back. They're there to get innings, but it's not like college ball where it's you got to win. I mean, obviously you're trying to win in summer ball, but it's definitely a more laid back feel.
Yeah, like there was something that was really that, if I remember correctly, you were involved with. That was I know the FCL isn't really usually a big story up here in Boston, but you relieved James Paxton in that game that he got hurt, right?
Wait, going back to the FCL, when I thought you meant the Futures League.
I meant the Florida Complex League. Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
No worries. No, definitely it's higher pressure when you're in pro ball, because it's that's what you're working for. That's your job. You want to move up. Every outing is there's pressure on it. So yeah, definitely the FCL over summer ball in college for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. I always forget there are so many of these like abbreviations that eventually some of them are going to repeat themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
In the Complex League, what were you like when you came in for Paxton? Was that like, did you know that you were going to be pitching that day?
No. Every game is just you're in the bullpen, and when they tell you to come in, that you come in. Actually, the game that came in for Paxton, he was feeling a little tender. It wasn't an extreme injury or nothing, but he was just like, yeah, I'm not going to risk it. So they just got me up and just threw me in the game. So there's a lot of situations like that where you just got to be ready at any moment. Um, sometimes you have more time to warm up, and sometimes you don't. So you just gotta, it's your job. You got to do what they tell you to.
Yeah. With
I wanted to ask you, how um, how do you deal with a good outing and with a bad outing? Like, is there any difference after the game if you had a rough inning or if you had a good inning? Like, what's the difference there?
So for sure, my mental game has stepped up since starting pro ball, but um, our my mood does change. If I have a good outing, I'm very very happy. I'll go out to eat that night, whatever. But if I have a bad outing, I'm like I'm down. I'll go watch a movie and fall asleep. But definitely my mental game has stepped up because I don't bring it with me the next day. If you can be
Okay,
affected by it that day, but once you go to the park the next day, it's scrapped. It's history. Like you can't let it affect your next performance.
okay.
Did it take a while for you to be able to learn how to shut that off? Because I feel like you got to be competitive if you're there, and if you're having I don't know, like if you have a bad game, that's going to be bothering me until the next time I'm out there. Like, how do you learn how to push that away?
It's just knowing that there's always going to be another outing, and that the negative feelings won't benefit you. Um, our mental skills coaches are really big into meditation and mindfulness, so that helps a lot. It takes you out of the moment, like, oh, I'm terrible, I'm a terrible pitcher, and brings you back into, I'm not a terrible pitcher, it's just a one bad outing. So
Yeah.
definitely
Uh,
helps.
that's really interesting because that sounds a lot like when somebody goes to therapy or something like that. That's a lot of the time what they will tell you. I mean, obviously not specifically sports related, but it's kind of cool that they have that kind of a focus because that is the mentality that you have to have. You have to just be, next time out, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, for sure. Like our mental skills coaches are great. Jake Chaplin and Don Severino. Um, they both play pro ball. They know the ups and downs, and they got a couple good exercises to bring you back where you need to be.
That's awesome that you've been
Great.
able to find something that works for you there. Were there Have you, speaking of guys that have been there, when there are like former pro players down in the FCL, do you like when Paxton was there or when Sale was making his start down there? Like, do you try to pick their brain at all?
No, they're there for business. They're there for getting their body right. They come and they talk to us. They shoot the shit, but no, they're there to get their body right. So they're kind of separated from us for the most part. We have our minor league training room, and they have their major league training room. So, but some of the times when they come over, they shoot the shit, and they're really good people. They're really down to earth and stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And this is down in like Fort Myers. So have you since the hurricane hit down there, have you been in touch at all with anybody down there?
Yeah, a couple of the trainers, they texted me saying that, yeah, Fort Myers is flooded. It's crazy. Actually, our fall instructs were canceled because of it. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's crazy down there.
Have there been that's something I was actually going to ask about. What I was talking about this with some of like the Sox prospects guys, and they were wondering, and I'm wondering too, like if there's going to be some kind of like a substitute down the road for that. If there's going to be like a like the winter warm up, if that's just going to be expanded a lot. Like, have you heard anything regarding that?
No, no, no. I'm playing winter ball, so they don't really tell me anything. I wouldn't go to any of that because I'm already playing ball in the winter. So, um, yeah, I don't know.
Gotcha. Now, is this your first time doing winter ball?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, you said Ponce de Leon for Puerto Rico League.
Yes.
Do you have like all of the like housing set up and all that? Like, how do you go about playing winter ball? Is that through like an agent or is that from the team?
Yeah, so the agent, my agent said, "Oh, I have a spot in winter ball if you want to be hooked up," and then they talked to the Red Sox about it, and if the Red Sox approved, they let you go. So um, it's definitely the agent got it covered. I just had to sit back and let him do his thing, sign a couple things, and that's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's we'll definitely be following you for how you're doing there. There's such precious little going on during the off season that I get excited. I get so excited for like the Arizona Fall League and like the
sure.
like this. Yeah, no, it's gonna be pretty cool. When do they play? How long does that league go for?
So November 5th is the first game, and they go until mid-January, but I'm only staying until I think December 15th because I need to come back and gain some weight, get my velo good and all that. So I want to come back 2 months before spring training and just get my body right.
Oh, gotcha. So
Okay.
there's like the playing portion and the conditioning portion.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Sorry, Huitzo, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Mm, no, I I wanted to know before we end, how has it been this season, especially this season in Pro Bowl? I've noticed that they moved you around a little bit. So how has it been?
Yeah, so I was struggling in the beginning. Forgot how to throw a strike. You need to do that as a pitcher, right? So they moved me down, and I worked with the FCL coaches, and I learned how to throw a strike again. So that's good. Definitely made some improvements there. And and towards the end of the season, yeah, they moved me around a lot of travel. But it was worth it. I wanted to get up a couple levels before the end of the season, so it set me up good for next year. So definitely like the experience. But yeah, the travel, you're always going to travel as a minor leaguer. There's always travel. You got to grind through the minors to make it to the majors, right? So, but yeah, it was definitely worth it. Definitely.
Yeah, you pitched FCL, you pitched Salem, and you got up to Greenville a little bit, right?
I got up to Greenville for like 4 days, and then someone got hurt in Salem, so I went down to fill their spot.
Do you notice a difference between like I guess as you move up through the minors, does it seem like the quality of is there a noticeable quality of play improvement?
It's just little things. Like say hitters in Greenville will not swing as many balls, have better plate discipline. And same thing with Salem compared to the FCL. It's basically the hitters have more plate discipline as you go up. So you need to throw more strikes, and therefore pitchers throw more strikes as you go up. That's the biggest thing. I feel like everybody, once they sign, they all have big league tools, but it's just honing them in as they go up through the levels.
Do you still consider yourself like a fan of the game prior to this, or now is it different now that you're a part of it? Like, do you still the playoffs are going on right now? Are you still following that at all, or are you?
Yeah, for sure. You learn the most from the big leaguers. Just playing, watching them do their thing. So definitely a fan still, and a fan of the Red Sox. But sadly, the Red Sox are not in the playoffs this year. But
yeah, it was. It was. I would say, as a Red Sox fan, it was a very frustrating season. But I'm very hopeful for the next season. I think that it's going to be a very interesting offseason. I think there's a lot of very talented young players in the organization, and how just even at every level of the farm right now, there's talent, and it's really cool to be able to follow that. But
100%.
from your end, just looking, I'm not going to ask you about the this Red Sox team and what you think they should do in the offseason, but I am curious how you see these playoffs going down. Who do you think is going to be in the World Series?
Well, originally, my buddy that I work out with, he works at my gym, Jeremy Pena, for the shortstop for the Astros.
Oh yeah, he's from he's from Rhode Island, right?
Yeah. So I'm hoping for the Astros, but actually the Phillies kicking the Cardinals that was a shocker. I didn't think that was gonna
Yeah.
happen. I wanted
Yeah.
Yachty and Pujols and Wainwright, to make it, but who else? The Mets got kicked out, right?
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
beat by
yesterday.
the Padres beat them last night.
Yeah, who do you have winning all the way?
So I know who I want to win, and that's the Guardians. I think it would be really, really cool seeing Francona get to go back there, but also just that series against the Rays with their pitching. Like they were just so dominating. And they quietly have some of the best guys in the game, like Ramirez and like Classy. Like, is there a better closer than him right now? It's ridiculous. So they're my team. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it or not. I think it's going to be them against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I can see that.
I
No, so you're breaking up. You're a little stiff.
and
You're good. Okay.
okay. Well, I want the Mariners or the Guardians to win, but I think Dodgers and Astros are the teams to beat right now.
Yeah, I think that if I realistically had to pick a team, it's the Astros. Just that, how do you beat Verlander like Valdez as your top two? Like it's gonna be real hard. But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So before we head out, I got just a couple of lightning round questions for you, Nate. Favorite player growing up?
Dustin Pedroia.
Favorite team that wasn't the Red Sox growing up?
Maybe the Phillies. I liked Ryan Howard.
That's a good pick.
Okay.
Howard and Utley. That was and Rollins. That was such a fun. That was a very fun team. Those Phillies. Player to watch on your team. You can't name yourself, but player to watch from the Salem roster this year.
Obviously Marcelo Meyer, Blaze Jordan. They're electric. And Jacob Webb for the pitching side. He's unreal. He signed this year, made it up to Portland, and he was just shoving. So he was my roommate in Salem. He's a really good guy. Really hope he shoves in the Arizona League. And, yeah, maybe next year, we'll see him in the bigs.
I'll say this about Webb. I saw him pitch for Greenville, and he looks like a closer. He's just big and intimidating, and he throws so hard. Like that's I agree. That's a guy to keep an eye on. He's somebody that could move through the system really, really quickly. Last question. Do you have any pets?
Do I have any pets? Yeah, I have a 17-year-old dog.
Oh my! What kind of dog?
Oh,
She's a mutt. She has everything in her.
Oh my goodness! I have a 2-year-old. She's like a mix of we think corgi, chihuahua, and maybe some kind of terrier in there.
Yeah,
but like we're not sure. What's your dog's name?
Callie.
Allie.
Yeah.
Does she like baseball?
Yeah, she loved playing fetch with the baseball. But now she won't even bother.
Well, I'm sure she's enjoying her retirement. I just remember when we got Penny, I took her for a walk near there were like these baseball fields near where I live, and she found like a ball and she just like took it back with her. And she's very little, so she has to all the way open up her mouth. She's like a snake unhinging her jaw with this thing, and she's just taking that ball back with her. And it's like, oh, okay, I think we're gonna get along just fine, Penny.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, that was Nate Tellier, pitcher for. He's going to be pitching for Ponce de Leon for Puerto Rico in the Winter League this year. He's with Salem from Attleborough. Anything you want to add before we go, Nate?
No, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, real happy to have you here too, and best of luck in the offseason. Where can people follow you?
Just anywhere. Sox Prospects. My Instagram, Nate_Tellier. That's really it.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on you, and we'll see all of you next time. We've got Bradley Blaylock coming on Thursday, so we'll see you then.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Pesky Report. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.